Hey, welcome back to the Buck Junkie Podcast. We're back for another episode. Guys, what's happening this week?
Getting colder.
Man, I love it.
The last week of actually taking work serious.
I'm counting down the days, Mark, for real. It's like after I get my next YouTube video done, that's it.
It's done.
No more Malcom?
No more. Well, I mean, you'll see me. I'll be hunting, though.
Once we eat our Mexican Thanksgiving dinner, then it's downhill from there.
I actually got to do some stuff in December, but not much. It's
That's
time.
a good feeling.
It is. It's a dang good feeling. So what's happening this week, fellas?
Rain right now.
Yeah. Cold weather. Man, I wish we had been deer hunting today.
It's been
I should have been this weekend, man. Them kids got after it. We had a blast.
So tell us a little bit about it. You was there firsthand. We were all
there.
received text messages.
I really, in all honesty, thought we was going to get a phone call about, hey, come help.
Oh, no, we had it under control. I took Michael down Friday. I think he got a little stomach bug or something, so I had to go get him from school. He's it got all right by the time we got down to the deer camp, though. He was fine, so we went and got the stand.
Bologna sandwich hooked him up.
I tell you what, the weather turned Friday. That's when like the front just got here, it was pushing through. Wind switched. It was coming out of the north pretty hard. Temperatures dropped, and we had a pretty good hunt. We didn't shoot anything. We set up on the big turnip field and saw a couple little doe, nothing we really wanted to shoot, and then saw a little buck come out. Man, bucks are working scrapes now. We had one come out and put a show on for us. I think I got a little bit of camera footage on it. It got put to one of the stories, I believe, but I couldn't really tell. I had my binoculars on him, but it was a little 6-point, I think, something like that. It wasn't very big.
He was whooping on it.
Man, he come out, and I was telling Michael, oh, man, look, this buck's for some work his scrape over here. I didn't know there's a scrape there. There's usually a few on that tree line coming out of that ditch. But he sure enough, he got up there and got them little horns up in the tree and started whooping on it and licking on the branch. And I said, he's probably going to start pawing at the ground. He stretched out. You know they stretch out.
Yeah.
Whiz in it or whatever, and he stretched out. Then he got his old legs back and started kicking the dirt. I mean, it was like you'd seen.
Did he rub his back legs together?
I didn't see.
You've seen them do that before, where they'll stand there and they'll rub their hocks together and piss on them.
Yeah, I guess they're getting that scent on the tarsal gland, isn't it? Just trying to make it funky.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you ever get one of them real funky bucks, it's hard to clean him because you got them legs in your face. It's bad.
It gets all over.
It'll be all hair just almost black. It's got so much piss on it.
Well, we after that he had to go shoot for the ski. He had a clay tournament down in Sardis, so we went down there and they shot that. So we didn't get to go Saturday morning. But I tell you what, I about froze down there. I did not wear near enough clothes to be tramping around that little ski clay course there. That's a pretty cool place, though.
We went down. We went down Friday. Will shot it Friday.
He shot it. Oh, he did. So was it cold when he shot it?
No, I mean the sun was out. I don't know. It was in the 60s or whatever when we got there.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden that cloud cover, as we were leaving, it started getting dark. That cloud cover came over and that wind started blowing and it dropped.
Yeah.
It was going down pretty quick.
I was out in it, but then it stayed cold Saturday morning, which that was my first temperament of the year. So I'm good to go now. It's like we come back, went Saturday evening, and I had some friends. Dustin brought his two boys down there, Brady and Carter. And Carter had never, I don't know if he'd ever fired a rifle. No, he shot at one last year. Probably the first time he ever fired a rifle, I would imagine.
Was it him that in the mud hole?
They missed a doe out of the wagons.
He did.
Yeah.
That's right.
And
He did shoot it.
I don't know if he saw it but he shot at one. And this year, I said, I want you to shoot this 350 Legend, and that's a bad gun, Mark.
I love it.
We built one it's on an AR platform.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
I think that's something a lot of people don't really know about.
Man, I'm telling you.
About how easy it is to make that gun what it is.
For a kid, I was a firm believer in starting them out with like a 243 and stepping them up to, 708 or 6.5. That's what I had Michael shooting. But after we built that 350 Legend and I saw how comfortable they are shooting it, man, that's the best
like
kid
shooting
gun.
a 22.
That's the best kid gun going.
Yeah.
There's not much recoil on it. Out to 175 yards, I trust that gun with any shot.
And two, we talked about this yesterday. Like, if you look on paper at what like the bullet companies project their ballistics for that caliber, it doesn't look like much. I mean, it's
better than 30-30 all the way around.
It's not that fast. It ain't got a ton of knockdown on paper, But I've watched firsthand what that gun will flat out do. You shoot one in the shoulder, they ain't taking another step.
No, he had never shot a gun like that, never shot like an AR style gun. So I put him on the bench, let him fire some shots downrange, and then once he was worried he was going to kick. You know how all kids are.
Oh yeah,
they think it's going to kick. He's a small frame kid. When he shot it, he's like, man, that was like nothing. So I knew he was comfortable shooting. His dad sat with him. I put them in the stand over there. Old Jamie Pond stand. That's so full.
We call it nursery.
There is doe coming out in that plot
every day.
Every day. I don't care what the weather's doing, what the humidity is. They're coming out in it. And so I knew they'd at least see a doe. And sure enough, I guess me and Michael, we went on to the other property, jumped on side by side, and Ole Miss game was coming on, so we decided we'd just go watch football in the stands. So I put it on streaming, and we was cutting up. He really wasn't. Michael just wasn't having to kill something. He was hoping that the other boys got a shot. And sure enough, about 4 o'clock, I was like, watch, Dustin's fixing Texas, son. And sure enough, he said, there's a doe out here. Can he shoot one? There's a big doe. And I was like, heck yeah, fire away. I wanted him to get a shot at one. So he shot, and then so he dropped it right, or he said got his first deer. And I said, well, did you find it? He said, yeah, it dropped right in his tracks.
You could see it on camera.
Yeah.
We were somewhere, and I was like, deer's laying right there in the field. Yeah. You see white belly up.
He did an awesome job. And I don't know if he was aiming for the neck, but that's where he popped her, and she just dropped. And it was over. It was lights out. And so I was like, man, that's awesome. I was so excited for him. And then Brady was texting, and he had a little buck out there at the mud hole. And I said, well, don't, we ain't shooting little ones. You done killed the buck. Don't worry about shooting a little one. Let's wait on a big doe, And so he waited. And then I guess, I don't know, a little bit of the game went by. Me and Michael I think we saw 11 deer total. We had a little spike come out right below the stand. He was on a mission. He wasn't eating. He wasn't smelling us. He was just looking for something. He was smelling around, went out across the plot up through the ridge, and he was gone. But we had doe. Martin made a highway.
I was writing that down. I was like, we got to talk about that.
He made a deer highway we had some pines to our back, hardwood ridge out in front of us, and we call it the Crossroads because there's 2 or 3 trails that head up right there with a big food plot. And I would say it's probably, the stand's right in the middle, and it's 200 yards to your right, 175 to your left, probably 150 straight out. That's what you're looking at.
It's a good size field.
It's a good size field, yeah. But we cut a lane. Well, the goal was trying to get some drainage off that plot. Mikey said if we could take a track hoe and kind of dig it out, maybe we get that water to flow. Well, we didn't. We had to get to the woods first, so we used that mulcher that we got from Cat.
Yeah, and I mean it's set out pines, so it's a perfect road.
Yeah, it's just a perfect straight row through the set out pines from the big ditch to our food plot, and it turned it into a highway. You couldn't have put a sign out to say "Deer, come this way."
That's where the camera's at now too.
Yeah. The next day I put a camera out. I want to see what was coming out the highway. And they're coming to the Crossroads right there. They filed out. It would be a pair of them, 3 of them. It was just all afternoon, and I think we counted 11 total. But we didn't shoot anything. But then I guess it was about 4:45, right at what I call prime time. 4:45. I'm watching that on my phone. You got that last 30 minutes. That's prime time when it hits.
Anticipation.
So Dustin texted me again and said, we got a buck out here. Can Carter shoot a buck? And I was like, heck yeah, shoot him a buck. And he says, first time to ever see a buck, I'm pretty sure. And he was so excited. Well, he's like, well, too late. I guess they were waiting on me to respond, and I had my game plan. So I wouldn't just
priorities.
I had priorities. I finally told him, yeah, go ahead. And he said, it's too late. It's done run off chasing a doe. And they had a field. He said, we got 9 out here. So they had a big doe laying there, and they'd already shot in the neck. Had 9 more out there. Then this little buck came out, was running them around. I guess they're trying to do a little pre-rutting or getting ready anyway.
It was funny because me and Mark were watching the game, and Mark said you could see the doe laying in the field.
Yeah, I was checking the cameras.
The cameras up, and I was looking. I could see her white belly. And about the time I did, that second picture come in of that buck. Yep. And I was like, darn, he ought to go ahead and shoot that buck.
And then 5 minutes later, you see Dustin walk out in the field. I was like, well, they got that one.
So anyway, it ran off, and then he said it running off and come back, pushing it around the field again. Finally, it stopped, and he pulled the trigger on it, too. It was a good shot. It was probably, how far do y'all think it is to the end of the food plot?
140, 150.
Yeah, because where I killed mine deer in that next little section, I think
it's almost 200 to the end of that field.
180
So I'd say it's about one between 150 and 170 probably, right in there. And he shot it in the neck too, dropped it. And I was like, man, you never know with a kid. You think you're gonna have to do a track job. You don't know, there might be gut shot. We've seen it all. My kid's bad to do it.
He had them stacked up in the
he had
food
them
plot.
Stacked up. All we had to do was pull up, load them up, and I started calling Carter the legend, man, because he was, man.
Oh, he was on cloud nine then.
Yeah, couldn't tell him nothing. He done killed one bigger than his brother Brady. Ended up shooting a big doe out of mud hole too. So we had 3 deer to clean. It was just me and Dustin there too. And, the boys wouldn't. They wanted to go back.
Yeah, their job was done.
Yeah, their job was done. We did put the blood on him. We took some pictures, and he wanted to get blood on his face and all that good stuff. So we had a big time though. It took us to about 10 o'clock at night to get it all cut up. So he's actually mounting it.
I kept waiting on my phone to ring.
Oh, mine rang. I had just one eye was closed.
Yeah.
I was going down, and it started
it.
ringing, and I looked over. I was, oh crap, something's wrong. Malcolm's calling.
Well, there might have been a few Miller Lite strikes.
That's what I could tell that tone.
It was about time to go do some. It was about time to go do some patrolling.
Said,
I was like, "Where's Mikey? Maybe he'll drive down here and want to ride around there fireball with me." Because Dustin left. Well, so he wanted to mount the deer, and it was it was a main.
It wasn't a bad little deer for first.
It was
buck.
2.5-year-old buck. So first buck, I never shot nothing like that. My first buck.
Me either.
Mine was a little spike. I don't know about
button head.
Yeah. I mean that's typical. Doe, button head.
Mine was a doe with balls, is what it was.
But it would end up being a 10-point. But it really, I mean, I guess you counted 11 because one of the brows was kind of palmated and split. So it actually had, double brow kind of on one side point wise. So it was 11 if you wanted to. He called it 11-point.
Oh, if I was high school or kid, oh yeah, if it was a nub, it counted.
So we got it caped out, everything. Took our time with it because he said he wanted to get it mounted and took some pictures and all that good stuff. And then the does, we just got after them. So
he took it to the taxidermist, get it full.
Has he already took shoulder mount?
Think so.
That's what he said he's going to do with it.
I think that goes to show right there the difference in the child being comfortable shooting that gun. And, he was not thinking whatsoever about firing that gun. He's already comfortable, and that's what we try to talk about a lot is getting that kid comfortable, and that's a prime example. And, going back to that 350 Legend, like I said, on paper, it's not that impressive, but the amount of energy it actually transfers to that animal, it amazes me because it's not a big round at all.
We took it out when we brought Jay Craig hunting last year. Me and Mikey got in a stand, y'all was in a stand. And I said, I just want to shoot a doe with that 350 to see what it does. It dropped it too.
Yeah.
So there's been 3 shots fired at deer with that rifle, 3 dropped in their tracks.
I've only had one run with it, and it's the one Jay actually shot, and he just hit it a little far back because we didn't realize his eyes are way different than mine. So the gun was sighted in for me. Well, when he would shoot it was shooting 8 inches to the right, So he hit one kind of far back, and it didn't run out of sight or nothing, but it did take a few steps.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hunting with opening morning, no doubt.
Heck, the main thing, you can find ammunition.
Well, that's true. I mean, I picked up 5 more boxes of it yesterday. We went down to Hunter's Holler in Oxford. What was it, $40 a box?
34.
Yeah.
$34 a box?
Yeah.
But they ranged, if you I picked them up looking at them, see what all the prices were on. They went from 30 to, a little over $40 a box.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was
and if you buy, if you just want something to shoot, if you buy the full metal jackets or some of the other rounds, you can get them for $19 a box.
19 mid-20s.
I think the ones that we were buying were the XP Winchester deer season.
Yeah, the deer season, 150 grains.
Yeah.
That's been the one
They
I've
fly
been.
good.
Yeah, they shoot good, and I never realized how accurate an AR can be. And heck, 100 yards, you can put hole in hole in hole and never check up.
And that was what amazed me with it because I got it. Well, y'all asked me if that gun. When I told him I was thinking about letting him use it or he ought to use it, I said I better check it, see if it's still on from last year. I 3 or 4 shots right there, bullseye, all touching. I said, man, you ain't gonna get no closer than that.
So y'all keep saying AR. Explain that to where somebody's listening might know.
AR-15.
How simple it is to make this gun.
So I had a AR-15 chambered in 223 5.56, and I never shot it. I mean, we get out there in the yard and shoot a little bit here and there, but really for what we do, unless you're coyote hunting, it's kind of pointless as a hunting rifle. And I've kind of stumbled up on 350 Legend, I guess last year.
What was that website we bought those uppers from?
Bear Creek Arsenal.
That's where you found it.
Mm-hmm. And I got to looking at it. Well, heck, I got to looking at a lot of these big hunting clubs. That's what they're shooting because I guess the cartridge laws in Illinois and several states converted from shotgun only to straight wall cartridges. So 45, 70, 450 Bushmaster, 350 Legend. Well, Winchester, I think, come out with the 350 Legend, and it was a low recoil. It's not a loud, like most AR-15s or 223 is loud.
Yeah.
It's not that loud. I mean, you can shoot it in the stand without having to, with the muzzle brake on, it's not going to deafen you.
Mikey might beg differ on that.
A little loud. But
the barrel ain't
I had
out.
my window open. Malcolm was out the other
Well, yeah.
way, and I was, 5 feet from the end of the
caught
barrel.
every bit of it. But it's not as loud.
It's not as loud as a 223. And so I said, well, heck, I think I ordered, what was that upper? $200, 200.
I was shocked by how cheap it was.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. So I ordered ordered a loophole scope that's actually made for a 350 Legend. It's already got the turrets and everything set up for a 350 Legend, and we put it together, and I shot it, and I was like, holy smokes.
Dummy it down a little bit more.
What
is the upper?
So the upper is your barrel, your action, and basically controls the caliber of the gun. The lower is only your buttstock and the trigger mechanism. So your lower receiver, that's the only thing that has to be licensed to you. The upper, you can have it shipped to your house.
Yeah.
Once you get an AR-15 lower, you're good to go. You can order whatever upper you want, build your gun how you want to do it.
And it's just 2 pins.
Two
pop
pins.
Out.
Yep.
So minus the lower, with the upper you have and the scope you have, what do you got in it?
$450.
So that's
maybe.
added on top of your
and
gun you
I think
already own.
Yeah, I think the lower, you can buy a lower, which we looked, Mikey's interested in getting one. We looked at a complete Bear Creek Arsenal built, assembled gun that you could ship to your gun dealer. And was it $560?
Yeah, it was like 5-6.
And it's ready to go. You just put a scope on it.
That scope was
It's not, I mean, that's,
100, I think, wasn't it?
that's not bad money.
No, not when, heck, I looked at what was it? Ruger bolt action 350 Legend yesterday, and it was $600, So, I mean,
The thing is, you can change the barrels out. So if you want to go with that
223 or
AR-15,
whatever,
like y'all were telling me the other day, I mean, you got a 223, you got a 17 HMR, 223, 22. You can order those uppers.
Now you have to,
Bushmaster?
like some of them, you have to change the magazines along with the caliber. Like
Yeah.
the 350 Legend, because it is a straight wall and it's a little long, I think the magazine's a little different, and you do buy a 350 Legend magazine, but it's still not a big price point,
Yeah.
But I love that for youth because that gun's adjustable. You can adjust the stock to fit them. The AR-15 is not a heavy platform.
No, it's super light. That's
And
what I like about it.
We're shooting what's ours, a 16-inch barrel?
Yeah.
It's the shortest rifle barrel you legally can get without having a license. So it's a short gun. It's not that heavy. It's comfortable, and it's easy for that kid to hold on to. No recoil, and it's a little to learn to shoot that rifle, but it's not that bad. It's comfortable for him, and I think that's what helped him this weekend, no doubt.
I do too, as opposed to being intimidated by.
Yeah.
just
a
regular
308
rifle.
to me doesn't kick, but Carter he's a small frame guy, and that'd be a lot for him to handle just right out the gate if he's never shot a gun.
Oh, yeah.
Let's hit old Santa Claus up, Mikey.
I got Mark kind of hinting around to Melissa. He's supposed to be.
Oh, I'm gonna get me a bolt action 350 Legend just cause.
Yeah.
I want one.
Well, didn't you say Frankie's making one?
Francie makes one. It's actually a very, very, from what I can tell, I have not laid hands on it, but it is a very, very nice built gun.
I've never seen one of their rifles. I've owned the shotgun.
Benelli makes it.
Yeah, yeah.
It looks just like the Benelli bolt action. Cerakoted barrel. It's a bronze Cerakote barrel, camouflage stock. I already got the Picatinny rail on it. And seems to be a pretty nice, gun. And that Ruger I looked at yesterday, it was great. I liked it because it had a short barrel. And it didn't weigh but I think 5 pounds. It was a little bitty, small frame gun. But I just ain't crazy about the trigger and the bolt on the Ruger. It's to me, it doesn't feel as smooth. Tika's done spoiled me. So I wish Tika made one. I'd buy one today. But anyways, off that. What are we talking about today, Mikey?
Talking about an early season buck activity.
Man, it's happening. It's happening, Mikey. I've seen here to testify.
Man, we got buck activity and coon activity on it. One scrape. That coon works at scrape as much as he don't care as much as the buck is.
So I wanted to talk about this week because opening weekend, just depending on which area you're in or what we've all hunted different areas. I have, and I'm sure some of y'all have too. But I've hunted Tennessee and North Mississippi most of my life. But in different areas, the buck activity is different sometimes. In certain properties, like the rut or the buck activity, you know, may change from one property to the next, just depending on where you're at, you know. I think a lot of it has to do, you know, and this is my opinion, you know, but a lot of it has to do with like the weather. You know, I know they put moon phases and things like that in there, but I think it's got more to do with the weather and the time of the year. They know it's breeding season, and they're going to start, you know, making scrapes, making, you know, doing all this stuff. And you've seen that this weekend.
Oh yeah.
You know, and that's
I think the weather, the buck doe ratio, all has something to do with it.
I think so, because like up here we're so populated. Our rut or buck, you know, our major buck activity, you see them running does. We'll see them now. Like Carter's seen it, and Dustin them seen it this weekend. You know, it's youth weekend, and here they go.
Well, when you start seeing them coming through, they're coming through the food plots, and they're not stopping to eat. That's a sign to me that they're looking.
They're on a mission. Yeah.
Now they might not have found one yet, but they're out seeking.
Yeah.
That's what they're looking for. So I think we're definitely like, if you ever seen that map, they show like the rut map of the state of Mississippi. It's crazy. You think it would be from north to south.
Yeah.
But it really runs from like west to east, and it drips down. So it starts narrow and it kind of widens and snakes down through the state. And every one of those is like a week or certain days of the, you know, of the month where it's going to happen. So usually it starts over on the riverside first and runs kind of down the river, and then it moves over a little bit and it moves over all the way to the eastern part of the state.
See that
almost like time zone.
Well, see that
it is like many time zones.
That rolls me into thinking it's a lot to do with the food, I think. Because, I mean, I don't know the proof of this or anything, but I'm wondering after, you know, especially after us, you know, doing more and more of this summer plots and keeping protein and keeping stuff out there, how that affects the rut activity. Because to me, if you have a healthier herd, to me, you're going to have a better, healthier rut.
Yeah, it should have.
And like you just said, it starts on the river. What's on the river? A lot of food. A lot of big high dollar hunting clubs. It's got plenty of food, plenty of minerals, plenty of protein, and the Delta.
Yeah.
And what is that? Nothing but food. So I don't know how that affects that. It may not. It may not. But in theory, in my mind, thinking like, I mean, we've never seen rut activity this early down there.
It's last year I started noticing a little more of them chasing and pushing them around opening season Thanksgiving than I normally would see. Because normally at Thanksgiving, from all my years that I've been hunting, the bucks are still kind of together sometimes. You'll see 2 or 3 bucks still. They hadn't split up. Well, this year they've already split up. And most of the time the rut that I would see would be like when we used to have that second muzzleloader season. That was peak.
First week of December.
That was peak. That was when you had to be in the woods. Well, it seems like it's getting earlier and earlier. And I don't know if it's because of the food plots or just because the weather's changing or what. But like Mikey said, like when it's something about the way the barometric pressure drops. When a front's coming, you better be out there because those bucks are going to be up on their feet looking around.
Well, we've been cooler this year too. You know, usually it's 70 degrees this week. Like last year, we was in T-shirts.
It was. You know? So that's a big difference. Now it's going to be down to 24 this weekend.
Yeah.
So you don't think this weekend's going to be good? Man, it's going to be jam up. I promise you.
That's what I'm saying. I think they, you know, once they get in that cold snap, because but you know, I think the weather, you can't really judge like the rut off of like what you were saying. You know, the food it does have
a factor.
That's a factor into like research, seeing them, because you're drawing all those does into that food plot. Or you're drawing that. If you had a place where you were open, just say you were hunting sage-grass fields, it's bedding area or something. You don't see that many does out there. You know, you may see 1 or 2 out there, so you may not see that much rut activity. You may not think it's going on.
Rutting. Yeah.
It's not going on, but you are attracting all
laying
those
eyes
does.
on more deer.
You're seeing 10 or 12 deer in a food plot, and a buck blows through there checking does or checking the field.
He's checking the club out.
Yeah,
You're right. So
he's standing at the front door of the club.
That's
like,
right.
So one thing, you also notice that like when they're in the woods eating acorns, if you ain't in the woods, you ain't gonna see that activity.
Right.
They ain't hitting the fields as much as they probably will be here in a few more weeks when they get all the acorns.
I think it's happening. You just don't see it.
Yeah, I could see that.
It's not visual to you, you know, and it's hard for you to see it all the time, you know.
So that tells me right there that you've got to plan out your food sources and where you want to congregate those doe to get the chance to draw those bucks to them to check them out. And the buck's not necessarily going to come right out in the middle of those plots.
No.
Or wherever you're at. You're going to hunt.
He may not ever step on.
He may not, but he's going to get downwind.
You know where she's going.
He's going to have his travel corridors, his ditches, his thickets, all the places that he wants to get in between the bedding and the food. That's where you catch them slipping.
I just about guarantee you that little buck that when he came on the field the first time, I bet he came close to the stand, downwind from all them does because the wind was out of the north. I bet he come down and wind checked all them does and then caught center one or went across the field, maybe not a winded or then, and got in the woods and like, whoa, wait a minute.
I bet he cut the corner coming up from where we got the scrape trail cam, cut across that little thicket.
Yeah.
And come right up and on the edge, right by the stand, and could smell. And that's why he buzzed on up the line and came out in the back. He didn't come from the northwest. He wouldn't have been coming downwind at him like that. He'd have went the other way if he'd have smelled something. But unless he was laid up in there the whole time.
No. Yeah. But I think, when it gets hot, I said the weather affects it. I think it triggers it, and then it starts and it stays on, like in our area. Yeah. I don't think it ever really just completely stops.
Well, because we have so many does, if they don't get them all bred that first rut, they'll kick right back in around Christmas or right after, right around New Year's. So we're lucky enough to where I guess it's a good thing. We see 2 ruts.
Man, you think them bucks up in like Indiana that's only got 1 or 2 they chase all year? It's like, man, I wish I was in Mississippi chasing all that.
They don't know.
They miss them
all
out.
Down this way. They'd be migrating like them caribou. They just all be in a line coming this way. They knew all the does we had down here.
Road trip, boys.
Hey, you think that's crazy? Mississippi State's got a buck that they see swim the river. He's done it a couple times and stay over there. He goes over there and hangs out, probably ruts, swims on back, comes on back.
I don't know if I want no Arkansas doe. Probably missing teeth.
Tell him he must have found something good over there. He keeps going back. Why would he go back?
And that's something else. Like, I guess we always think, when do you think the ruts hit? Like in our mind, we're wanting to be like, all right, at 12 o'clock on Thursday, they starting, and it's not that case. It's who knows? I mean, like you say, it could be going on right now, and we don't really see it to know what's going on.
So what do you think in your area where you're hunting for a sure tell sign? How can you figure out the rut starting other than just seeing one chase a doe? What's some signs to look for that it's going?
We noticed it last year. We see it on camera before we see it in person. Because you'll look at these cameras where you'll have plots out there that your does feed at every evening, and you'll have 10 or 15 does out there, and you'll see them on camera, say on Friday evening, they're feeding, and then all of them are calm. A few minutes later, you see one run by the camera, and then they're calm again. Then you see another one run by the camera, and you see the deer run on camera, knowing something's making them run because the rest of the deer in the background is not running.
They're just hanging out.
So we saw it firsthand last year like that, where we could catch them. Hey, I think they might be rutting, or sneaking up on it. And I've never paid that close attention until you mentioned it last year.
So when they start making scrapes hard, when you start seeing fresh scrapes and things like that, you start seeing a lot of that buck sign. You start seeing your rubs more frequent because just first part of the season you see rubs where they probably just done it to get it off their horns or something like that.
Work it on their antler.
Yeah, they may or may not ever come back to that rub. And then you get later in the season, in a place you've never seen rubs at, all of a sudden there's you look over and there's a cedar tree just whooped to the ground, and they have just tore it to pieces, and then there's a scrape, there's another scrape, there's another rub. That's them starting to, they're starting to mark their territory up and like put signs out there like, hey girl,
this is mine.
I'm in the area.
Yeah.
Let me know if you want,
That's the first thing I start looking for is when the scrapes start popping. Because if you hunt the same area every year, you kind of get an idea of where you've seen scrapes before. So we go back to those. And that's what was it, 3-4 weeks ago? I found that one scrape on that trail. I don't know if it's been that long. It might have been 2 weeks. But I said, all right, we're going to put a camera here. There's fixing to be some activity here. And they wasn't hitting it hard, but it's just I was on a leafy trail where we've seen them before, and you see an area cleaned out. I was like, man, they're getting ready.
Yeah.
So I hung a camera, and it was 2 weeks went by, and we'd see some deer cruising by, but they weren't messing with it. The possums were messing with it. The coons were messing with it. And the deer were working it, but they weren't working it like they should be. And then just last weekend, when I saw that one buck do it, then that very night, that scrape got hot, and 2 or 3 bucks have been on it now. And you see them on the branch, stretched out, licking the dirt, scratching the dirt, whatever they do to it. They're hot right now. So that tells me that's kicking off. That's like the go. And then it should just intensify the next few weeks up until peak.
And we ought to see a lot more, of that buck activity during the daytime too. You know,
Yeah, and we
not
have.
just at
You look.
night.
So Mark just said this morning. We sat down. He said, "Man, the cameras ain't done much last night." And then we looked in there, and
We're seeing more daytime activity right
there's
now.
a buck come across 2 or 3 of the cameras already today, and they're different bucks too. Now they're little bucks. You ain't seeing the big ones, but you're seeing the little ones out cruising a little bit. And I like to see them during the daytime too. They're the ones that dumb. They don't know nothing to do.
Yeah,
They're entertainment.
Yeah, but they're out seeking for these does, seeing if a doe's right, and so they got to cover some ground because all these does don't come in at the same time.
no,
You know, it's spread out, so they'll go and they'll find one, and you might. That's what gets me super excited. If I'm in the stand and I see 2 or 3 bucks chasing one, she's got her tongue hanging out of her mouth, and they're dogging her all across everywhere.
He's liable to get shot.
That's hunting right there.
I mean, over the years, I guarantee, I know I've killed bucks running does on opening day, and I've killed them all the way through. I've killed bucks as late as January, still dogging a doe out in the Delta.
Yeah. So how long do you think they'll stay with one doe? Because they breed them
'Cause she
multiple
lets them
times,
breed.
right? I mean, they breed them multiple times. So they
Um,
stay with them like 2 or 3 days, or is it one day? Or
Me and Mikey watched one down there. We hunted Wayland stand that year. And when we say it was stayed with that doe, it stayed from daylight till we got down, like never.
if she feeds,
She
he
bedded
goes,
down. He
She
stayed
stood
right
up.
there.
He
He
bedded
got
down.
nervous and got up
Yeah.
and would stand up for a minute and walk around with her if she get a little something to eat and lay right back down.
So that's the lockdown.
That was a good buck,
That's what
too.
and that's what they do. They will, they'll stick with them like that. And like you said, I mean, I think it's for 2 or 3 days sometimes.
Well, I mean, we watched that one that morning. I mean, we got out. So the deer was in a thicket, so we only could catch glimpses of it. We knew he was a good buck. We knew if he would get in sight, we was taking him, and so we watched him, and he bedded down. He grunted and chased that doe around. They'd bed down, and we had, 2 or 3 little bucks come blowing through that thicket where they were bedded. They never moved. She stayed right there, and he stayed right there. And we had deer. Heck, Mikey got out of the stand and walked over to the edge of the thicket to try to get a better view. They never paid a bit of attention, and they probably wouldn't 50 yards from you at that point,
Yeah,
60.
about 50, 60 yards from me.
And we watched it from, like I say, daylight till we got down about 11:30. They never moved and could not get them to move. And I want to say, heck, somebody shot a deer that morning. Wouldn't you? Maybe
Somebody shot because they got up and took off.
Yeah. They didn't. The other bucks, the little bucks that
Yeah.
was with the thicket, but they never moved. And
I don't remember who shot.
somebody killed a deer that morning. But anyways, I'm saying there was deer, there was activity, there was stuff all around these two, and they never left that thicket. Never did.
I mean, if she's the hottest thing around, he's gonna stay with her.
Yeah. But the thing is, there may be others trying to stay around too.
Yeah.
There's gonna be. It could easily be if there's other bucks in the area, they're gonna slip off, try
They
to
can smell
challenge,
it, so.
challenge that big one, try to draw him off. Then your little bucks will slip in, breed her. I mean, sometimes it happens.
So I noticed that last year when I hunted Plantation Field. It was the morning we had, 42 deer, 41 deer come out in that field. They were chasing then, and it was funny to watch, like the little 1 and 2 year old deer, like they would chase, but they're not aggressive about it. They're just like, ha ha, hey, let me get some of that, But then you get one that's like an older deer, a mature deer. When he comes out, he pretty much gonna run you down, get what he wants, and go on to the next one. Like he don't play no games, and you can tell the difference when you're out there.
I did see. I forget where I saw this. It might have been on a YouTube video when I was just watching some stuff this past weekend, and one tell sign that I don't know if I've ever noticed this or even knew to observe it, but if you're sitting in a stand on a plot or somewhere and you see a single little doe, or like it looks like you can definitely tell it's a yearling doe, it's out there feeding by itself, or there's a couple of them out there. Oftentimes, the mother is hot and there's a buck got her locked down, and she'll come back to them, but it's not necessarily somebody's done killed the big doe. They leave them when they get chased and those bucks are on them, and then when they get bred, they'll come back to those little doe.
Yeah,
So that's something
they'll
to
break
look- that's
them all.
something to
They'll
look
cut them
for.
out of the herd.
Yeah, they do. They cut them out, and the rest of them just going about their business. Now that deer's always trying to get back to them, and I think that's why you see them like rabbits. They circling back always.
Yeah.
I don't know how. Like a lot of times you'll see a doe. Well, if you're sitting on a plot or somewhere, a place where they're feeding with a group, and one of them's hot and the bucks are chasing them, they're not going to blow them out of the county. They're going to run big circles. That doe's always trying to come back to her group. And that's why you think that buck's pushing him around. He's not pushing him around. He's following her.
Yeah.
She's the one coming back. She's trying to get back to her people.
You just hope you're with the rest of the people and they come back.
He's ready to come back, yeah.
Because it's been plenty of times I've been sitting in the stand, you hear him grunting, and you see him run by, you can't get a shot, and you're like, oh, he's going to come back. He's coming back. Man,
They do sometimes.
I've seen them come back, and I've seen them just
disappear.
leave the country. You know, they're gone. They didn't check up.
Yeah.
I was seeing a TikTok the other day, and it got me tickled. It was a guy sitting up there. You know, they got the man. You know, they spell it out, and the guy's got his gun, and he's going, man. You know, and it never stopped. And then he just drops his head. I'm like, I've been there before, bro.
Heck yeah.
A bunch of times.
You give him about 2 man, the rest of us can be like, hey.
See, that's where that legend with them 10 rounds come in. You get some heat in behind him there.
Malcolm's going to cut all the trees down.
Yeah. Ain't going to be no hack and squirt. It's just Malcolm and the legend.
Hey, I'm going to blow a leg off. He's going down. Landing gear's coming off.
So with that being said, Mikey, this is your week, your topic. You got on here, what's your strategy this weekend? So what is your strategy?
What is my strategy?
Yeah. I know what mine is, but I want to know what yours is.
Are you climbing a tree? You sitting in a stand? You going to a ground blind? You going to a ladder?
Well,
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for does. I mean, I'm going to go ahead and get my does now. I'm going to let that shotgun eat Saturday morning. I'm pulling 2 off the property.
Well, you taking notes on what he's going to see if he can hold his end of the deal up?
Yeah, that's what I'm jotting it down where Mikey's going.
It's going. If you put me and Mikey on the same side of the property, it's going to be a war because we finna get some does. I ain't lying.
So
I've got a ladder stand that me and Mark hung up. We trimmed it out, and it's just a travel corridor. Does use that ditch coming up down that kudzu ditch. They cross over onto your property. They cross over on the neighbors coming off that ditch, and that's a pretty hot spot. But it'll depend on which way the wind's blowing that day, if I hunt that stand or not. If it's south wind, you might as well stay away from it. North wind or
it's going to be north this weekend. It's supposed to be.
Anything out of the west would be okay. But anything out of the east or the south, you really don't want to be messing with it. So if the wind's right, I would get in that stand. But, you know, I have Will with me this weekend, so I'll probably sit with him.
He didn't say you want to sit with me again or nothing, did he? Let me take him again?
No. But, you know, I'll probably let him pick and just kind of influence him on which, you know, where he needs to go. You know, like the wind's not good for that stand, so we probably need to sit here. You know, give him a couple of options, make him think. You know, that's one of my biggest things. You know, when I get to hunt my son or any other kid, you know, is make them think about what they're doing when they go. So this is going to be an opportunity for me to let him pick and decide and see if he picks.
So
the
what's
right
he
place.
looking? What's he looking for? He's got
a buck that he is. Now he come in yesterday and he told me, he's like, Daddy, I showed that to my buddies. We were talking about it. What deer they got pictures of deer, you know, and he was like, mine was about as big as theirs, but you know they've talked him into not shooting the deer.
He's letting them influence him.
Well, that and he's
until Saturday morning.
Yeah,
game plan changes.
I think if the deer comes by, he's going to shoot.
Yeah.
If it comes by him, he's going to shoot.
Why are they talking? Do you think they think it's too young?
Well, I told him, you know, this where we hunt at is in the hills. Where they're hunting at's in the delta. They're close to the river levee down there. I said, that is 2 different genetics, son.
It is.
So the deer that they're showing you they're monsters.
Right.
The deer that you're after is one of the bigger deer on the property right now. So
yeah,
he's
definitely a 3-year-old deer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he pushed 4, but he's 3. He's a good looking buck.
I want to see that one that was in front of Wayland's stand.
Oh yeah, the thick one.
I ain't gonna say I'm gonna shoot him. I just want to see what he
Mark
looks
shooting.
like.
I want to see what he looks like, because you can't judge in that picture. Like he looks good, but he may not be but 12 inches wide. You know, it's hard to tell. Now, if he's 18 or 20 inches wide, yeah, I'm probably going to fire down on
it. You
it.
can't tell from just a side shot that's not clear.
Jamie, what's your plan besides going to pond stand and watching 50 does and not shooting them?
Well, you gonna shoot a doe?
Jamie might not go to the pond stand.
I got a plan.
He may not go to the pond stand. He's done got another spot.
If I get Abby to go, but she probably ain't going.
I'm going to one of the wood stands, whether it be the one by the house or the one you want to go to. Border
I don't
Patrol.
care where I go.
I got to be back in time enough to go up and get breakfast fired up.
Are you cooking
You
breakfast?
better hunt the shop then.
I might hunt
Yeah,
the
you
shop.
better hunt the shop.
I'm either going to hunt shop or mud hole.
I mean, it's evident I can't relax. All y'all are shooting, so I might as well shoot something, I guess.
Michael's going to be with me, so I'm going to let him pick. But if I had to bet, he's probably going to want to go. He's been eyeing Heartbreak because he's been watching the cameras and seeing everything comes out there at
It's
Heartbreak.
been a hot spot this year.
They've never hunted it.
It's just a hard stand for a kid.
Yeah, I mean,
well, they
You
slow.
can't watch football and hunt that stand.
I don't know that they've been hanging out.
Yeah, they've been doing better about staying in the plot now that it's something there to eat.
But I tell you, if I had my choice, I'd almost want to go to Hilltop just see what's happening because there's so much cover and green there now for the lanes that we got trimmed up. And
We really don't have a camera.
We have no
Right
idea
there,
what's
we
happening.
don't know what's up there. But I'm telling you, the dove field where we put the weed up in there to cover the ground, it's beautiful. The strips are all green. It's got the little spot down there between the pinch point of the pines and the big ditch on the other side.
Oh, you'll see
I
something.
mean, that's gonna be a hot spot. And we hunted it last year, and then that's where we watched that little 7-point little kicker 7, and we watched him all morning there. So it's a spot where you can see. Well, first off, you got probably 400 or 500 yard view almost around you, all the way around you. So it's a lot of ground to cover, but it's a fun one to hunt.
What is it now from there to the tree line? Like
It's cutting down. You're not, but your
about-
furthest shot out of that stand might be 200 yards, maybe.
Yeah, because there's a hill, you can't get over
Yeah.
3 on it. I don't know how far it is. Like if you're shooting straight west, up on the side of the hill, because you could see
Might
up
get
there.
200.
But it's not.
It probably ain't about 125 to the tree line.
Yeah, now.
I hadn't,
'Cause it
I hadn't
wasn't,
hunted it since we moved it.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
Yeah, it wasn't but 300 from it where it was originally at.
Yeah. That'd be a fun one to hunt. I mean, the turnips, I don't think I'm gonna go back to them just yet. They're not in them like they were when they were young.
Well, we talked to that seed guy yesterday.
He said give it a few frosts.
He said give it a few frosts and everything will change.
Yeah. Which
It's enough out there.
There's plenty out there. That'd be a good field next year if we get the ratio right on it to have bigger strips of just grain
Yeah.
to get them to where the turnips aren't palatable to them to where they'll
Have something to go for.
yeah.
It kind of depends if I hunt with my 300 or if I hunt with muzzleloader.
I think I'm taking 350 if I go. Michael's
taking
gonna take his.
350.
I'm taking 350.
Now, if I go to one of the
You said you're gonna take the muzzleloader? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, I'm
Everybody's meat hunting Saturday morning.
look,
Heck yeah.
I hope I'm close to Jamie here. Go.
Oh, she's ready.
Have you been putting it on paper?
Yeah, she's
They've
ready.
been shooting. I looked over the day. It looked like the woods was on fire, and it was old black powder just fogged at the
Really?
bottom.
Man, I love the way it smells.
Not when you clean it. Man, Abby didn't know what. She thought something was dead when I was cleaning it.
Man, it smelled like rotten egg.
That old sulfur smell.
How many times did you shoot it to get it on?
I shot it last year and got pretty close, and I probably shot it 3 times.
Yeah, so you didn't. It's ready then.
Yeah.
How far do you feel confident out shooting that?
200.
Would you take a shot at 200 with it?
Depends.
I did with mine.
I mean, when I was shooting
You'll shoot at anything. No.
I ain't
Mark's
scared
like,
of.
800 yards. I got this. Let me dial it up.
I mean, before I shot 150 grains of powder in it, it would kick your tail. But yeah, it would shoot.
Would you back it down to 100?
Yeah.
I killed one with which mine. His is Encore. I got the Black Diamond, which is relatively the same far as you're not gaining nothing.
Yeah.
But 200 yards. I mean, it would drop 2 or 3 inches. It wasn't bad if you had it 2 or 3 inches out of 100. I mean, I'd take that shot. I would trust it.
Yeah. I mean, that's as far as you shoot the Legend, though.
Yeah.
Which one would you rather shoot? I'd rather shoot that Legend.
I'd rather
all
shoot
day
the
long.
Legend. Heck no.
You need to shoot one of those. You probably would never shoot a muzzleloader again.
Man, I'm having thoughts. I'm itching for a gun
Really?
bad.
Yeah.
Y'all just do a curveball to my plan. But
I love my Legend.
I like the versatility of it because you can make it just about any. You know, there's multiple.
that's
configuration.
that's definitely the advantage.
It's super lightweight.
And I ain't worried about
AR.
that
I
gun.
mean, the AR style rifles have so much. They have any kind of accessory you want to put on it.
If I want to go out there and
Optics, the foregrip,
throw it in
the
the side by
slings,
side and
lights.
look for coyotes or whatever, I ain't worried about getting beat up, scratched. I mean,
The one thing you will need probably a different, like if you're gonna put different stuff on it to shoot a scope on, you just buy a scope for the gun. Like that one came with you bought the 350 Legend loophole for it. I'd buy a specific scope
Right.
and leave it on there. That
yeah,
way
because when you take the
can-
upper off, the scope stays on.
yeah, and you just know worried about it. And I guess it would stay zeroed up.
Should supposed to.
Did y'all have those old Encores that you can swap barrels out? Did y'all ever?
Yeah.
That's what mine is.
Did you change out different barrels? With
I
different
got the
scope?
muzzleloader barrel and a 35 Wayland, and if I could get it to shoot right, I'd shoot with it. But man, that thing, I can't. I've never been able to get it dialed in.
It don't. I've never
Yeah.
been happy with it. I like hunting with it because it ain't. That's a cannon, but
I've never shot one of those.
But pretty much,
you think that 300 kicks? It don't.
no, that thing's brutal.
I've heard it.
Now, if I go to a big field Saturday evening or something, if I go hunt a big field, I'm taking my 28. But if I'm hunting wood, mud hole, pond stand, I'll take that 350 Legend every time.
Well,
It's
you
Probably,
you got to change your strategy on your guns when you go to, because we got so many different scenarios. Yeah, like I couldn't go in that plantation field or the heartbreak stand and really
not the shotgun. No.
You know,
mud hole.
Yeah,
Your
mud
ladder
hole,
stand.
the ladder stand. You know, the pond stand, maybe, but not really.
You be at the max range on it.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to be stretching that.
Yeah. I'm trying to think where you could. I mean, you could hunt South Trump with it. You just would limit yourself to about half the field.
Yeah.
It'd make the tree line. It just ain't going to go left. It'd go right to the tree line, I think. That's about 100, a little over 100 yards. You're within 150 to three-quarters of the field.
Yeah. So if my strategy was to change where I'm going to start hunting bucks or something like that, I would probably put the shotgun down. And
you know which field that needs to go to, the Crossroads. Because it's 200 max shot. That's, I mean, you're in range with that slug gun anywhere there. It's a perfect 350 Legend field too. You know, when I'm hunting stands and thinking, that's about as far as I want to shoot. Anything over 200 yards to me, I'm just not. I don't shoot that much to
There's a
feel
lot of
confident.
variables.
Yeah, I mean, there is wind. You know, the gun itself. What's your, you know, how much?
And it don't matter what you think. I've tried it. You're never as steady in a stand that you are on a bench. I mean, it's
your heart's racing. You
it
can't
ain't
breathe.
paper. It ain't paper. Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's paper down there at 300 yards or a gong, you know.
yeah, we ring it all the time.
Let that old buck be walking out there and putting his head up and down and looking back at you. And,
I'm probably finna throw one across there though. I'm not gonna watch it.
So are you going to shoot a doe this weekend?
if Michael don't get up and go.
If Michael don't go?
Yeah.
You going to let him shoot one?
Yeah, I'm going to let him do all the shooting. I'll do mine in January. I mean, there's going to be some days where he goes back to school where I know I get to hunt, like those rut days.
Yeah.
I'll be able to hunt those, and he won't be able to go. So, but if he's with me and goes, I usually don't shoot. Kind of like you and Will. I plan on taking a camera with me and trying to get some footage of some stuff. I want to get him kind of used to, you know, talking and doing all that stuff and being comfortable and making good decisions, and he don't just have to kill something. I know we're going to get plenty of meat. We still have, you know, we got meat in the freezer now, and we're not just, there's other people that need to shoot some other than us too. So,
dang, Malcolm tried to make all us sound bad. We put the whammy on them.
Well, we still got management obligations to meet too, though.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Oh, I'll get mine. Don't worry. I'll get my 2 doe.
Oh, if Abby don't go, I'm gonna shoot some first 708 this year.
Oh yeah, that'd be good.
No,
I think that's one thing I'm gonna do. This year to me is shoot something different than what I've been.
Mm-hmm.
Daddy did
some
that.
other guns.
Daddy did that year before last. He killed a
killed a deer with every gun.
Bow, a crossbow.
He only got 3 guns right now.
No,
he done his.
He's got a few more than that.
Yeah, Daddy's got what, 3 308s?
Yeah,
I think so.
He killed one with every 308.
He done his
hammer.
longbow. This has been a couple years ago. He done his longbow, his crossbow. He done his hammer gun, his old Thompson Center
like
hammer
real
muzzleloader.
black powder gun.
Oh yeah.
And then he's chopped one with his inline. He done one with his 35 Wayland, and then his 308s.
It's all in different states, but yeah.
No, that was when the limit was 10 here.
Yeah, you kill that many.
Yeah, he was legal.
Yeah,
he won't hunt with. So I bought him.
That's like a grand slam. There, you grand slam all your weapons.
I bought Daddy a Henry lever action 308. Beautiful gun, and it's probably one of the smoothest shooting 308s I've ever shot. And he hunted with it, maybe one year?
He killed one deer with it, I know.
And he won't take it back.
Really?
He's like, it's too pretty. It's too pretty.
Oh,
and it is. I mean, it's a sharp
That's
gun.
one thing. We need to side bet on who can shoot the biggest doe. I'd shoot one then if y'all want to do that.
We can.
We put the side.
I'm going to do that old fishing tournament stuff. I'm going to put lead weights in him.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a 300-pound
We'll get us
doe.
an X-ray or magnet or something that sticks to it and swings.
I'll get one of them cinder blocks off that stand and throw off in it. I'm going to get y'all.
So is that what we're doing, biggest doe?
Yeah, biggest doe.
Do it.
Maybe we did do it on the year. Biggest doe on the year.
Not weekend doe, but
Yeah, not just the weekend. Biggest doe. We put a biggest doe pot up.
That means you shoot first. You get to what you're competing against. You can hold out to the end of the year.
No, well, you can wait. I mean, you can measure. You can weigh multiples too. That's kind of how they do the biggest buck. The biggest buck, can you check in as many bucks as you want, or is it?
I
I've never seen them run a biggest doe.
I don't know, because
you know that Cloud9 Ranch in Missouri. They do a biggest doe and biggest buck contest.
I like that. Biggest doe.
Nobody does that around here no more, do they?
They do.
We used to
They
Holly
did it at the
Springs.
store in Eudora.
Yeah, the
every
one at
year.
Holly Springs did
301.
one.
They have, yeah.
We doing the biggest doe. It's official. Podcast official. Biggest doe Buck Junkies. It's game on.
The biggest doe.
What are we, $20 a head or?
At least. Whoever's in it, yeah.
$20 a head, biggest doe.
Winner takes all.
Hey,
We didn't wait.
That means so you got 40.
Are we doing just 20? Us?
got
Or we doing
40.
in?
Yeah,
No,
you got
whoever
you and
wants to
Will.
get in it, it's on our thing.
You got
All
you and Ivy?
yeah, just between us.
All right.
This ain't like open to.
No, I'm talking about like it's like Wayland.
Oh yeah, they can get in.
Everybody, all right.
Yeah, it's got to come off our property.
Because I was trying to think if we're going to do it that way or we do it to where you get $1 a pound for the biggest one.
That'd be a good way too. But how you go?
And then
Everybody-
whoever loses, you divide it up equally. That's what you pay.
Everybody's got to kick in.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So if it's a 150-pound doe, we divide it up 5 ways, and that's
That's a
what we
good
pay.
way to do it. So you could win $200 if you shot a 200-pound doe.
Oh, I'm packing it.
Yeah, we got to do that.
Everybody's leaving the guts in.
$1 a pound.
yeah.
$1 a pound.
Nobody's
Whoever's
field
in,
dressing.
you.
It's guts in, on hoof.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, it's. We put it side by side, back it in the shop.
I'm going
Hook it up to the scale.
I'm stopping at J&J's. I'm buying all the egg weights they got.
Oh, you can't do that now. We're fixing to open it up, so
You ain't gonna be there because you ain't gonna be by the guts when we open it
I
up.
will for that.
He's going to be the inspector.
Yeah, I'll be the inspector.
Yeah.
It's full of
That thing starts rattling like a rattle trap. I don't know what that noise is.
Got to start stuff. You might plug them from the other end. I don't know.
Whatever wins $100, $200, whatever you got to do.
He's feeding split shots
Yeah.
in.
If he has to borrow my ram rod, something suspicious, ain't it?
Get Jamie's muzzleloader.
That we're packing.
Jamie be hunting with that muzzleloader. What is that smell?
Have a stink stick out there.
Hang on, Jamie will have you'll have all the lead bullets with you anyway.
Yeah, I can wait one down.
Yeah.
You can't shoot them like 10 times either. Just
Just to put lead in them.
Mike can be hunting with buckshot. We can load it up with lead.
load them up.
Game
That's
on.
happening. Well, what else? So y'all ready?
No.
I think so. Well, all right. So what are we cooking this weekend since our back porch is in disarray?
Yeah, I know. We're doing a little extension out there on it, so we can't cook outside. I guess we're going.
Oh, we're cooking in a garage.
Yeah. Well, you already said you're gonna hunt at the shop so you can cook breakfast. What are we eating for breakfast Saturday?
You got the standard deer camp breakfast. We
We got to
got
stop and get groceries, too.
yeah. We got to go to the grocery store. We're gonna get some sausage. We're gonna have bacon,
We got plenty of bacon, plenty of biscuits down there.
melted cheese, biscuits.
We got sausage too.
You need some of your mama sausage.
That's what I got. And
Probably gonna
she's
do-
bringing some fresh. They just killed a hog.
Yeah.
She's been all last week. They cut up. They slaughtered There was 380 pounds dressed.
Holy smokes!
It was huge. She's like, y'all need some fat? I said, yes. So she's supposed to be, I won't get it till after Thanksgiving because it's up there, but Chihuahua, but they're going to bring.
We're gonna do some fried bologna.
There's some bologna there already too.
Check the date.
No, it's a chub.
It's
My
good.
bologna can't go bad.
It's the second chub. That one we'll slice it and fry it.
And
Did
then-
we go through the refrigerator?
Yeah.
I went through some of it. I didn't finish.
you know how Malcolm
Yeah.
goes through a refrigerator.
The bacon's good because I cooked some of it last weekend. The biscuits ain't going bad. I mean, we're cooking all that stuff this weekend.
Sunday
We don't have no eggs.
morning, I may do steak and eggs.
Yeah.
Do ribeyes
I
and eggs.
got steaks down there. I don't think we need to buy anything. I mean, we might need some eggs. We ain't
Got biscuits.
no cheese.
Need to get some milk.
What's the garage refrigerator look like?
It needs to be fully stocked.
We need to stop at the grocery store.
Yeah, we need beer.
What's the freezer look like?
I got a bucket of Fireball. I got a brand new bucket of Fireball.
There'll be a bunch of stands open Sunday morning.
But
So I got thinking about this too while we're talking about cooking. We talk about going to Como opening weekend.
we got that on. We got
So-
a reservation for Como Friday night.
A lot of people outside of our listening area, I guess, that's not local, does not know what Como is. But man, what if we done a recipe where we cooked a Como dinner, like as a group? So like we done the filet with the Willinghams and butter, we done a loaded baked. Show y'all,
Mushrooms?
yeah, do the mushrooms,
Sausage?
do everything just like we would Friday night. To where if somebody else went, hey man, we can cook that. Like
Fried pickles.
Fried
pickles.
pickles?
We can do that. We can do that with something.
do a big recipe.
Yeah.
Tyler, you taking notes? That's what we're doing.
That would be a huge one. The
Como experience.
It's the Friday night before rifle season opens tradition, and it's the last Friday of hunting season. We go twice a year.
I'm ready.
For people that don't know, Como Steakhouse is what?
About the only place in Como.
Well, so Como, Mississippi, there ain't much there. I guess it used to be popping back in the day during rail.
I think like more of
traffic.
Back in a farming town years ago.
There was a hub, and then I don't know, that steakhouse has been there
A while.
Man, I would guess since the
It's been there since the
50s, 60s.
The 90s when I started. It had been there then. It was the oldest steakhouse in.
Yeah. It had been there a long time, but it's one of those places you go, you order a steak. Now, you can pick out your steak out of a case. They got these open pit grills in there where there's the grill master grilling the grills.
And I can tell you, that guy will have 50 steaks at one time. Now, how he keeps up, but he's
there ain't
good.
no sous vide. This is like taking raw beef.
Oh, them guys work.
Seasoning it. Like Mark said, they hit it with the Willinghams, and they got a butter, I guess it's like a Dale's almost stuff they mop on it or something, isn't it?
It's Willingham's, butter. I'm just guessing. Just
Worcestershire or something?
Worcestershire, maybe a little lemon juice.
That's what they based it with as they grill it. Every steak comes with the baked potato and salad. There ain't no ordering stuff on the side.
Toast. I don't know what they do with toast. That toast is so good.
So
that building is 145 years old.
It was old.
So it's an old farm.
Something with cattle.
General
back then.
store.
It was a mercantile store.
Yeah.
The steakhouse opened.
I would guess it's been a while.
But they're like,
I know it's been 30 years at least.
they're known for their sausage and cheese plate.
They
That's
do,
that's like the go-to appetizer there.
The mushrooms, they serve these butter mushrooms too as an appetizer. They give you the toothpicks in them to eat them, and then the fried pickles. That's my three things I have to get when I go to Como. Full bar, oyster bar upstairs.
I've never been in the oyster bar.
I hadn't either. Everybody goes there.
So,
I think that's like the young folks hang out, Mike.
Yeah, maybe.
We're too old to go up them stairs.
Yeah. Get run back down.
What was it say, Mark?
that ain't it.
Well, if anybody's in Como, we're going to be there. A big group of us are going to be there Friday night. Y'all say hello.
I don't know.
But anyway.
The building's old.
It's been there a long time. We'll look on the menu and we go report back to you when Como Steakhouse is.
Do some research.
We'll ask the grill dude.
Yeah.
They
ought to know.
Yeah, they ought to know how long it's been there. But I think we ought to cook a big old pot of white chicken chili Saturday. It's going to be cold. That's a good one. Goes with everything. It's easy to do. You got to go outside.
How about Saturday night?
Yep.
Make some cornbread.
Mexican cornbread.
Yeah.
Cheesy Mexican cornbread.
There you go, Jamie. You can be in charge of that.
That might be a flop.
I don't know if Jamie's ever made cornbread.
Jamie was ordering. He wasn't volunteering.
He was ordering.
He was ordering.
Well, all right. Well, hey, that's gonna wrap us up today. We're ready for our opening rifle season up here in North Mississippi, and hope everybody out there has good luck this weekend.
Definitely have fun.
We hope to report back to y'all with some success. At least we're gonna try to put some meat in the freezer. Mark, tell everybody where they can find us.
Man, y'all can find us on all the platforms, podcasts, you name it, TikTok, YouTube, all of it. We'll try to keep y'all posted on our hunting season coming up. And, man, if y'all kill some deers, tag us in it on Facebook, Keep us posted. Let's see what y'all got out there.
That's how big a does they kill.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get that contest going. Let's see them big does.
If you north of Tennessee, you out. They don't count up there in Indiana.
They got them big does there. Hey, you can still post them up, show us what we
don't have.
What we don't have. But for everybody here at Buck Junkies, good luck to y'all. We gone.